What's up guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another London vlog. Today we are going to walk under the Thames. Yes, this is something I actually forgot existed. So it's an old Victorian tunnel that you can walk through. So we're going to check that out, see if it's worth the visit. So if you're thinking about coming to London, this is something I think is quite unique. It is also really close by to the Cutty Sark, which is a really famous old skiff boat. I think it's a skiff boat. I don't actually know the sort of nautical terms, but it's a boat that used to transport tea from China and then materials from Australia, I believe, but it's really well preserved and it's a really famous place to visit for, especially for like school kids. That's when I sort of remember going there. Before we get over there though, I think you can actually see it in the distance. I don't know if you can see, there's sort of like where the sails are, right over in the distance over there. All this really makes me want to take up mudlarking. Like you see all that mud there. You're probably not allowed to go down there even if you have a mudlarking license, but if you're unaware, mudlarkers, they go around the sort of foreshores of the Thames and they sort of pick through it. And you have to have a license to do it. And it basically, you can find a lot of old sort of artifacts, a lot of old like Victorian pipes, but also sometimes like Roman stuff, Roman coins, sometimes just wild stuff. So it's worth checking out if you haven't already. I've applied for my license, but I haven't found it yet. But the reason it is so productive for sort of like historical artifacts is because the mud is anaerobic, I believe, which means there's no oxygen in there, so it just preserves it massively. So when something's dropped from, say, like a sailor or something like that, like because you get a lot of those pipes, I found it's there until someone picks it up. So it may be there for a couple of 100 years or so, and then there you are to be the first person to pick it up, which I find really fascinating. I know it can be quite geeky, but I'm a bit of a geek. To get here, you have a DLR station, which is called Cutty Sark for Maritime Greenwich. You see as well, there's like a restaurant there called Cutty Sark. I think there's a pub called it as well, and there is the boat over there. So it's quite a dominant factor. So we're also quite by Greenwich Market, so we might head there first.
Yes, you are.
Whoa.
They were going to do like the
Didn't take into account that today is Sunday, so the market is absolutely thriving at the moment. The food looks really good there. It's probably one of the best selections of food stalls I've seen in London, actually. So if you go to like, say, Camden Market, even Borough Market, I think that in terms of like the different styles of food and the quality of it, I think that's one of the best I've seen. I might have to go back for the roast dinner to see what that's like. They got like a roast dinner sandwich, like a beef roast sandwich, or like a full roast. So maybe after we check out this area, we check out the tunnel, I might head back for that. Okay, here is the boat, here's an old pub. So you can go into the Cutty Sark, or at least I think you can go on it maybe, but we're not going to do that today. You can actually go on the boat and then also under it, so you can go on the ship's wheel. You can even climb the rigging, which is up there. So as you can see, there's that dome there is where the tunnel is, and then over there is like Canary Wharf and sort of like Docklands that way. Here is the Cutty Sark, and then you've got kind of like fairground thingy there, and then that dome behind it is where the Victorian walk path is under the Thames. So there's one there and there's one directly on the other side. So it's Isle of Dogs is the other side, and there's one exactly like that supposedly. Next to the boat you have the Gypsy Moth, which was built in 1795, so pretty old, and actually older, way older than the boat. So I think the Cutty Sark was built in 1869. Here is what you can do. So you can actually go on the boat, you can climb the rigging, and you go under the boat and use their free Wi-Fi. There's a little hidden gap. Here are the ticket prices if you did want to go on. So £22 for an adult, £11 for children over 4 years old, and free under that. So right next to the boat you have the Old Royal Naval College. There's some events. There's like this really decorative hall they've got here. It's called the Painted Hall, and then there's an old brewery in there, of course, and it's also bang opposite of Nando's, which is just pure British culture. Okay, so here's going to be the plan. So I'm going to go off to the tunnel now, because I want to see that, go to the other side, and come straight back. Maybe we'll check out the Old Naval College, maybe to the market, then after that, get some food, and then possibly to the pub. So yeah, this was built in 1902. And it was a way for dock workers to get from one side, the Isle of Dogs, to the other where they'd be working. And it's free, obviously, so it was a more affordable way of getting across the river. And you can see here, it looks pretty Victorian. Like, this has had a bit of a redo, but they've kept tiles, they've kept a lot of the ironwork as well. I mean, they say no cycling down here, but I suppose there's quite a lot of these found. The one big tip for pretty much everything underground, or if you're on an escalator, if you're walking under the Thames, keep to the left. That's all anyone asks. So supposedly the deepest this gets is 50 feet under the river, which is not that deep, like if you think about it, if there's a whole sort of like river above you. I don't think, I looked into it, I don't think there was any like big disasters or anything that happened down here. I think it's been pretty sturdy. So this place only had new lighting installed and CCTV in 2012. So you can see there's cameras there. So that's a relatively recent thing, because you can imagine how unsafe this would be, especially, I know they close it off at a certain time, but especially on like quieter days when there's not many people around, before gentrification happened to both sides of the river, this would have been a very dark and scary place to be. So a bit of a welcome improvement with the lights and the CCTV. I mean, even there's lots of, I don't know what those things are. I thought it might be like sprinklers or something. But yeah, we're getting to the end of the tunnel now. It's just taken about 5 minutes or so to get there. We're moving from the sort of brick part to this. So the short length of the tunnel was repaired. This short length of the tunnel was repaired following bomb damage that occurred on the first night of the Blitz on the 7th and 8th of September 1940 during the Second World War. The damage resulted in the tunnel being closed immediately for repairs, had to stop leaks and potentially flooding. Had the tunnel been more severely damaged, the resulting closure would have had major long-term impact on the travel across the river. As the tunnel formed, a much relied upon cross-river link connecting housing in the south and the industry in the docks in the north. It was an essential part of the war effort. Preliminary repairs to stem the inflow of the water were successful by early 1941. The repairs had been completed and the tunnel fully reopened to the public. The repairs included the exposed metal ring segment lining, which you can see here today. Let's get in the lift.
I was lost for a good second there. I was like, why are you kicking strangers? Yeah, sorry.
I've just seen you, there. Doors opening.
Okay, this is the other side of the river, just coming out. There's an exact replica of the dome we saw on the other side. And then here's what we have. A bit less exciting, really. You've got a cafe there, you've got a little park going on here. We've just walked directly under there, up into here. So this, as I mentioned before, this area is called the Isle of Dogs, and whilst I've known the area, I've never really questioned why it's called that. So I'm just going to find out. Here's what it says. So it says the Isle of Dogs has a name with uncertain origins. The first theory being, and this is like the most popular one, that royal hunting dogs were kept here. So there was like a royal kennel, and this is in Edward III's time, so the 14th century. So this would be all marshland at that point. But supposedly there were kennels here. The next theory is it was actually called the Isle of Docks, and it's just a misinterpretation. So just people saying that it was called the Isle of Docks, and then over time docks may have been misheard and altered to dogs. There's a couple others that the area was a historical hub for shipbuilding and fishing, and sailors may have kept their dogs on their boats. Some sources just suggest that stray dogs roamed the area, possibly giving rise to the name. That's good. That's a fun one. So here is the other side of the river, as you can see. Not very exciting. Just walk a little bit further out. So unless you are going through to East London, there's not really much of a reason to come down here. There is a park. There's a couple like football pitches around here. I'll just show you. So there is Canary Wharf over there, which you can walk over to, and then just parkland. So yeah, here you have the sort of park area. You've got some football pitches. You can go directly over there if you want to get to Canary Wharf. So it's quite a good connector, but really not much here. It's quite a nice like family sort of place with like playgrounds and stuff. So that's nice, but really, if you want to spend the day here, you're probably best being on the other side of the river. But this is quite a cool way to get there though. So even if you are in East London and you want to get over the other side of the river, it's quite a fun way to do it. This is where we are, this is where we were. We just walked all the way through there. Around here, you've got Millwall Park. There is a park and farm over there as well. And then just a lot of like docks and stuff, which will get you through to Canary Wharf. It's pretty serene around here. Like, I do quite like how relaxed and chilled it is. It's clearly really looked after. But we saw on the map that there is a farm around here, so I thought I've got to try to find that. This looks promising. I mean, it is kind of nice that this greenery is sort of here. Oh, okay. Oh no. Is it? That's pigs. Yeah, okay. There's pigs there. We've also got one of these ACAC guns, which were I think so. 4 were put here during World War II as a sort of defence against the Blitz. So like, the government took over this sort of allotment area to put these guns in here to sort of protect the docks, and this is one of them. Supposedly they're like controlled by remote control as well. Okay, that's enough of the farm. I've seen enough animals. Definitely something I'd recommend if you're in the city, you want to get away from like the busy bustle of it all, and maybe if you've got kids and you want something free to do, this is a really great shout. So this is the Mud Chute Farm. I've just walked back from the farm trying to find my way to the river and the crossing, but I've just come across this road here called Thermopylae Road. You can see all these really nice houses. These like old cottages. They all have the same sort of circular windows. But it just feels like a very different place. It feels like a very different place to where we've just been, where a lot of it was bombed during the war or newly built. And this feels like a real like little hidden area with old buildings, and everything exactly the same. There's not a single building on the street that's a new build. So it just keeps this sort of old worldy kind of feel about it. Yet you still get a fridge lying in the street. If I had to guess, I'd say that whole block over there was old housing for dock workers, because of the location, because of the age of them. That's kind of what I see. I mean, you even come up to here, but that whole like streets and streets and streets of the same houses, it's really quite rare. Right, where am I going? I'm going to head back over to Greenwich Market now to see if I can pick up some food, because that roast dinner is playing on my mind. And it's Sunday, it's a day for roast dinners. You should definitely do it. Like if you're travelling around, definitely fucking get out.
I'm off to Tunisia next month
Perfect.
as well, Africa, and I heard that it's nice out there as well. Last year I was in Morocco, and I'm looking at so much amazing thing, and I should be flagging this.
Well, that's what I'm doing with this. Like I just do like some London stuff because I just wanted to go around, and I live here, but I wanted to like experience, like learn more about like the town and like explore space and sort of do stuff.
Because if you're so smart, it's so easy to pick up cheap tickets.
Exactly.
Go out there, get a place for tenner a night. Nice, clean place.
And just like enjoy yourself, like just film it. But yeah, nice to meet you, man. What's your name?
Thank you for
that. Take care, buddy. Look after yourself. Ooh. Thanks.
85.
So this is the roast beef from the market stall. Now I don't think I've ever had any form of roast dinner from a market, so this is going to be interesting to see if it lives up to pub and homemade hype. So what do we have? We've got obviously no vegetables going on, which is a bit of a negative, but we've got beef, we've got some onions going on, some potatoes, and of course a Yorkshire pudding. Let's give it a go. Let's go meat first. Okay, let's go. Ooh. The beef is good. Yeah, I mean, in terms of like, say like a restaurant roast beef, that's up there. It's still sort of tender, it's not overcooked. A little on the salty side for my liking. The onions are a nice little touch. Let's try a potato. Potatoes are really good. They not particularly crispy, and they've got a lot of rosemary on them, which is like a personal preference kind of thing, I feel. But they're soft, they're not too greasy. These are good. Like, ideally you'd have a bit more of a crisp, I feel, but that's being ultra critical. So far, this is pretty good. I mean, it really does live up to sort of like a restaurant in terms of like quality. Okay, let's try the Yorkshire. So unfortunately with a fork, it's going to be pretty hard to eat that. So I'm going to use my hands, right? That's a solid Yorkshire pudding. I think overall, from a market, for like £10.50 I think it was, I think you're getting a really good value roast dinner there. Like if you're visiting the country, if you're visiting London and then you want to try a roast dinner, whilst this wouldn't give you everything because you're not getting the veg, you're not getting a lot of the other sort of stuff that goes along with it. And also I feel like you should be sitting down either at like a dinner table to eat it as well. You're not getting the full experience, but for the price and for the amount of food you get and the quality of it, this is a really good way to get a taste of a roast dinner. Okay, I just got a ticket to the Painted Hall, which is here at the Old Naval College. That is what it's called, right? So I've literally I've heard of this place, but I've never heard of the Painted Hall, and I saw some photos of it. It looks pretty impressive, so I thought it's best to sort of check it out. The tickets were £17.50, and you get to go, for that you get to go in the Painted Hall and then like a chapel or something as well. I'll spin you around where you go. So that's where you buy the stuff. There's something in there as well. And supposedly, I've got to go down here. But there's a brewery as well, which we love to see. Right. So, it's pretty windy. So we wanted to go, we were there, we want to go there. Right there. So, let's see. Like, I've never seen these places. I've lived in this city all my life, and I've definitely never been here before. I mean, look at this. I mean, these buildings are crazy. Okay, this is where we need to go. The Painted Hall. Lost in the crypts. I'm trying to find. Okay, I found the toilets. This is not the way to the Painted Hall.
What?
I've got to admit, I'm super impressed. Like, this is not something I expected to be here at all. They say this is like the Sistine Chapel of London. I've been to the Sistine Chapel, that was good. This is also very good. I'm not going to say it's better, I'm not saying that, but that is super impressive. This whole building, I mean, that's very cool, this like Helios thing. Like, the windows are super cool around here. Like, I can imagine on like a sunny day, if the light comes through here, it'd be quite dramatic. But yeah, it's like, I can't believe this place isn't, well, it may be well known, I just didn't really know about it myself. So the painting is called Helios and Apollo in the Painted Hall. This is what it is. So it's ancient Greek mythology about Helios, who personified the sun, driving his chariot across the sky from east to west. So, sun going from east to west, this is what this kind of represents. So, in the central oval of the Painted Hall ceiling, created by English artist James Thornhill between 1707 and 1714, you can see Apollo in his chariot chasing away the morning dew, and a cherub pouring water from a jar. So look, right. see if I can do that. Right. Always get that weird feeling when you're at like a gallery or something where you're kind of like, what do I do now? Like so sometimes I just like to sit and look at it for a bit without the camera and things like that. So I'm gonna do that for now. So supposedly this is a scale example of how small the Earth is compared to the Sun. So the Sun is 109 times bigger than the Earth. Just that little thing there. So I have a couple of the little things here from the war. This is like a written book on the types of gas you receive. So they'd be like chlorine gas, mustard gas, saying it smells of garlic and onions. So weird to think someone just like sat there and wrote that down in like a little, it looks like a school book. Okay, that was really impressive. I'm super happy we went to that. It was only like £17.50. You get all the time in the world to take photos and just like look at the paintings. That Helios installation as well is really cool. I don't know if it comes across in camera, but in person it's like super dramatic. And like the lighting in there is super moody. You can take photos, as many photos as you want, and it's not that busy. The Trafalgar Tavern. I think this would be a good place to end it. So I'm gonna go into the Trafalgar Tavern, check that out, and finish off the day with a pint. Whoa. So my camera ran out of battery at this point, so I didn't get to record a proper ending. But I'd just like to thank everyone for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe for more videos in London. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.